You might be aware that the Archdiocese of Baltimore was the first diocese in the United States. In fact, it was the Diocese of the United States when it was established, and when John Carroll, a member of the esteemed Carroll family, was made the first archbishop in the early 19th century. And it was at that time that Baltimore was the diocese of the entire United States. In church terms, we call that the primatial see. Okay, that's what they call it. But over 1,000 years before that, Pope St. Gregory the Great, a man who we celebrated on Saturday, I think, or last week sometime, I think it was Saturday, thank you, who sent St. Augustine of Canterbury to England to establish the Western Roman Church in England. It's like 1,000 years before the United States. And poor Augustine really didn't want to go, but he went anyway, and established the first diocese in England, the primatial see of England, which is Canterbury. And there was established, and still is, Canterbury Cathedral, which today is under new management. Let's put it that way. Right? It's the Anglican Church today, but still a wonderful place. And if you go to England, you got to go there. And it's a beautiful, wonderful cathedral from the Gothic era. Actually, older than that, but added and expanded. The reason I bring all this up is because in Canterbury Cathedral, it's the see of the Archbishop of Canterbury, the primate of England. Now, that does not mean he's a monkey. That means he is the head of the primatial see. And in Canterbury Cathedral, just as in every cathedral, he has his cathedra, his seat. And he's the only one that gets to sit in that seat. Cool, right? Now, the interesting thing about that seat is if you are sitting in that seat and you look straight out, directly out, 3 football fields away, there is a beautiful, beautiful stained glass window. And directly in front of that seat, and it's big enough that you can actually tell what it is an image, and it's called, the stained glass, Adam Delving. Adam Delving. And it's Adam, you know him, right? And he's got a shovel, and he's digging, right? He's digging the earth. Adam Delving, right? An image of Adam working. That's an interesting idea to reflect upon today, on this Labor Day, right? What is the meaning and value of work? And it all begins with Adam, right? We go back to that mythological world, if you will, before the fall, right? And then after the fall, before the fall, Adam is great. He got everything he wants. God gives him everything. Got fruit, got animals, everything. Snakes don't bite, bears don't beat you up, don't eat you. It's a great world. And then Adam and Eve mess it up. And what comes with that? A whole bunch of stuff. But one of those is work. So in a certain sense, work is almost a curse. I'm sure you've all felt that, right? Right? Alarm goes off in the morning, it's like, not again. Right? I can think of better things to do today. But you go anyway. Right? Because work is not yes, it is. One of the challenges of human life is work, right? If it wasn't for work, this wouldn't be here, right? And therefore, there is a blessing to work. There's a great dignity to work, no matter what it is. As I was preparing to do this today, I was thinking about my own growing up. And, everybody, I don't know if they still do this anymore, but when I was a kid, you'd ask a kid, like a little kid, right? What do you want to be when you grow up? And the question is really, what kind of work do you want to do when you grow up? Now, that question is interesting all by itself, isn't it? Right? This idea that there's something that I would like to do. And when you think of it in those terms, it's because there's something good about that. Even little kids understand that. And I must have been like a weird kid, because I can remember when I was a little kid. Now, of course, I wanted to be an astronaut, because every little kid wanted to be an astronaut in the 60s, right? They were the whatevers, they were the YouTube influencers of today. Nobody cares about them anymore. Name an astronaut, you probably can't do it. I could, right? The Mercury 7, I knew them all. In fact, I was born on the day they were announced, which shows you how old I am, right? Anyway. Wanted to be an astronaut. That was cool. That was a great job. But I can remember also at times thinking, looking out the back door in the yard in the morning, and the garbage truck going down the alley, and these guys hanging on the back riding the garbage truck. And I thought, this is great. I'd like to be a garbage man. There's great dignity in that. Now, that's a dying job, isn't it? It's kind of been replaced by automation in many places. Not here. I still see guys ride on the back of the truck here, but in most places, the robots have taken over that job, sadly, I suppose. But there's great dignity in that. Imagine a world where there's no garbage men, right? There'd be a lot of garbage, trash all piled up. Right? There's great dignity in being a garbage man. Then I went through like a mailman phase. Right? Imagine a world where there were no mailmen or mailwomen. If you never got your mail, all that junk you don't need from Amazon would never come. Right? Right? There's great dignity in that. Right? When we think of the dignity of work, we think of professional people, and that's true, but it's also true of the garbage man and the mailman and the guy who cuts the lady who slices the bologna at the Giant, right? All of these folks add to the value of human life. There's dignity in all work, no matter what it is. No matter what it is. Now, there are a few exceptions, right? Right? Selling drugs is probably not a very good job, right? But if you're doing anything legit, if you're doing anything that builds up the world, makes life better for somebody, there's great dignity in that. And we have a sense of that, don't we? Right? Even on those days when you hit the snooze alarm 3 times but still got to work and drag yourself in, when you go home, you probably think, it was all right. I helped that lady, I helped that man. It was worth it. Right? Because we're doing God's work in that regard, right? It's not just getting a paycheck, although that is important, right? But it's also we're helping to build up the world. We're doing God's work. And that's a worthy thing. That's a good thing. Something to celebrate. Something to have a national holiday for. But also something to bring to our prayer. To thank God for what seems at first like a curse, but is indeed truly a blessing.